Saturday, May 4th. Exciting because we're finally out of that great big monologue from the Art of War. So we're going to do what we've been doing, actually. We're going to start with the Daily Stoic and then go into the Art of War. Switch it up a little bit. So, May 4th, what's truly impressive out of the Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday and Stephen Hanselman. How much better is it to be known for doing well by many than for living extravagantly? How much more worthy than spending on sticks and stones is it to spend on people? Usonius Rufus, lectures 19.91.26 to 28, right? So, like at the end of the day, everything's material. It's better to spend your time and energy and efforts into people, especially those that are close to you. Think of all you know about lifestyles of the rich and the famous. That so and so bought a home for so many millions, that so and so travels with their own barber, that so and so owns a pet tiger or an elephant. The exact same gossip and notoriety was popular in Roman times. Certain Romans were known for thousands of sesterces they spent on their koi ponds. Others were notorious for orgiastic parties and sumptuous feasts. The works of Roman poets such as Juvenal and Martial abound with tidbits about these types. The conspicuously wealthy earn and ultimately get what they want out of spending, their reputation. But what an empty one. Is it really that impressive to spend, spend, spend? Given the funds, who wouldn't be able to do that? Marcus Aurelius courageously sold off some of his imperial furnishings to pay down war debts. More recently, Jose Mujica, the former president of Uruguay, stood out for giving 90% of his presidential salary to charity and driving a 25-year-old car. Who can do stuff like that? Not everyone. So who's more impressive? Because at the end of the day, material things are not important to the Stoic. So it's really always very interesting to see some of these people who really worship money become influencers and claim to be Stoics. So let's go over to the Art of War and find out what insight we can glean in place when we combine Eastern warfare philosophy and Western Stoicism. So, verse 14 in terrain. Now an army is exposed to 6 calamities, not arising from natural causes, but from faults for which the general is responsible. These are flight, insubordination, collapse, ruin, disorganization, and rout. And then I'm sure they're going to go dive into it. So, with those 6 in mind, let's just go to the alternate translation and see how it's laid out. All right. Master Sun says, so, among military forces, there are those who rush, those who tarry, those who fall, those who crumble, those who riot, and those who get beaten. These are not natural disasters, but faults of the general. Those who have equal momentum but strike 10 with 1 are in a rush. Those whose soldiers are strong but whose officers are weak tarry. Those whose officers are strong but whose soldiers are weak fall. When colonels are angry and obstreperous and fight on their own out of spite when they meet opponents, and generals do not know their abilities, they crumble. Zhang Yu says to this, generally speaking, the entire military leadership has to be of one mind. All of the military forces have to cooperate in order to be able to defeat opponents. And how true of that is that in our own lives, right? In our own lives, we have to be able to, right, defeat opponents. We have to do this thing every single day where we unite our body and our mind to fight the world in such a way. And so getting out of sync is like the reputation built on money and these, crazy parties and the koi ponds and the extravagant things that at the end don't matter. And it's like the things that do matter are the things that bring you victory. And so what are you choosing to focus on?